Have you ever been in one of those situations where you have in your hand an object that you hold dear and you look at it and then you drop it in that fraction of a second before it hits the ground? You can already see it break, and then it does. You look at it and it's broken and you can't do anything about it. You can't glue it, can't mend it, can't nail it, can't turn back time. You can't believe that just moments before it was whole. And you just can't shake the feeling that a part of you left with that bang. So you hate the passing of time. You hate its sound. You hate its smell. You hate its touch. Because with every second that flies by, you are further and further away from that thing being whole. When I was little, that's how I felt about drawing outside the lines. But when there were no lines, I ran free. I've learned the hard way that people generally like lines. It gives them something to do, something to bend. Most people cross lines as they please. Some even dance on them. But when the lines are gone, so are they. I had a teacher once who liked creative writing. She let us write about anything, in any way. I felt at home without directions. But I wondered, why was I so afraid of being cornered by rules? Why were others so afraid of the void? Were we afraid of each other? What was it that restricted me, or us, ourselves, or the world? I was sitting on a bench one day, wondering what my life had been. Was it worth it? Was it a long chain of events that built into each other? Did I stumble into it? Was I a combination of my days on earth? Or were my days a combination of me? Maybe my days and I are but a combination of each other. I sat on that bench that day, trying to sketch in my mind the future that I wanted to roll into, to pour myself into. I remember that I always thrived in questions. I could never hold on to an answer for too long. They seemed valid only for a second and so flighty and void the next. The more I think about it, the more I feel like every question I've ever asked was a variation on the same three themes, an extension of the same three questions. Ever since I was a little girl, I wondered, who am I? How did I become it? And what was I before I became what I am today? I don't pretend that these questions hold any intrinsic or universal truth in of themselves, but they've always seemed to bring over me a certain wave of quiet, the idea of a thought, no matter the degree of answerability at the specific time in my life that I was asking them. There's something so liberating about abandoning yourself to the writings of your past, and then ripping yourself off of them and into today. I wanted to find a pattern, to feel it, a pattern that was realer to me than the one I had read about in books, and maybe clearer than the dim lines I was privileged to read about in other people. So, in a bout of selfishness, I decided to document the wisdom others had given me, and perhaps even more selfishly, I chose to share it. And so I started mapping the ideas and parcels of truth that combined themselves into the pictures that I saw every day and the people I met along the way. If there is one thing that the world has shown me, it is that some days being ripped to shreds by the passing of time is the best and only thing we should truly hope for. It taught me how to sew myself together, and it taught me how to really look at my life. I understand better now what everything has been, what my life has been. It was a dream. It was a nightmare. It was the thought between two words echoing into each other. I could almost hear the picture and touch the voice. I heard in the distance the threatening sirens of the pain I was yet to feel. Then it hit me like a train. I was brushed by every wagon and tossed about every rock. But the longer the ride became, the less I feared, for I knew that my wounds were inevitable, chosen, and maybe even desired. A waltz like this wakes the dancers up. I was drawn to life from my sleep. Never would I sleep again. Never would I close my eyes. Then I knew what the sirens said and how they pierced. So I walked with their sound and never let my feet rest again. It was a dream. It was a nightmare. It was a thought between two words, echoing into each other. I could almost hear the picture and touch the voice. And so I keep on hearing a buzzing that doesn't exist, a phone that never rings, a song that never played, as I dance under the light of what I want it to be. I have always felt like I am just a vessel for the things that I know, for the things I ought to know. My life is just a bridge between today and tomorrow, between a breath and a blow, between a run and a flight. I am before tomorrow. I am beyond tomorrow. I am the arm of a bigger body, and I move towards the sky, raising fingers, doubts, and questions. I move as a shoulder moves before me, and my line was traced before I could draw it. My range was defined before I could wonder why. I am the arm of a larger sea, and I sway as I feel I must in order to carve the lands I give my life to, and to shape the lands that give their lives for me. The funny thing about being ripped to shreds is that you realize that all that you held on to was just a drop of water. When a drop is all you have, it feels like an ocean. As you realize that, you must really look at yourself and learn. Every time it happens to me, it makes me wonder, my God, oh God, what have I become? Am I just a shadow of a person, or the dream of one?